And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time to hear from the heart and mind behind this beautiful book. Please join me in welcoming the author of Sacred Sojourns, Amma.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've all waited for a very long time. I'll just take a few minutes, to tell what is there in my mind right now. I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude and joy. And it seems like a dream, standing here before you and, sharing the dais with such stalwarts. And it reminds me of a line from Abhirami Andadi, Naan munse the punyam yedi en namme. So Kidambur sir, thank you for patiently reading my manuscript and writing such a beautiful foreword. Frankly, I was very nervous because, this is my first book and I was very worried about his reaction. And he said that it was really good and, that really touched my heart. And Kidambur sir, as you know, is a great orator. You all listen to him. And during his visit to UN, United Nations headquarters, he wrote in the visitor's book in Tamil. And he also added a Tirukkural to it that shows his love for Tirukkural and for the language, for the timeless language and the timeless wisdom Tamil is. Thank you, sir. And, I have to tell you that lots of people should emulate your grounded nature and your humility. Thanks for your kindness and support. Every day I go for a walk. And usually I choose something to listen to for half an hour or 45 minutes. And a few days ago when I came back from the walk, Senthil asked me a question and I didn't hear him at all. So he asked me why I was so preoccupied. I was listening, and here's my reply to him. I was listening to Professor Madhusudan and Kalai Selvan's brilliant discourse on Ramayana Tatparya Sangraham, which is, a collection of verses written in the 16th century by Sri Appaya Dikshidhar. Here, Professor Madhu, he talks about how the Ramayana and Mahabharata uphold the valor and grace of Lord Shiva. Such is the knowledge of Professor Madhu. Nam Tamil Marabil onru solluvargal, அவர் ஒரு பெரிய அண்ணாவி, சகலம் அறிந்தவர். So his knowledge on spirituality and such matters is far beyond his age. And thanks for the wonderful foreword which Madhu wrote. Of course, he has the Saiva Siddhanta class today, Tirumurai class today. That's why he has left. And thank you, dear friends, for coming up and talking such lovely things, about the book as well as me. And I'm overwhelmed. I'm thoroughly overwhelmed. I wanted to, tell about each person, but I think I will do that another time because all of you are waiting for dinner. So I'll skip that part and move on with my speech. A few years ago, my brother-in-law, Sri Jayakumar, he visited us from the USA and we all decided to embark on a temple tour. And the natural choice was Kumbakonam, because Kumbakonam is home to some amazing temples which you all know. And 5 days, we saw so many temples. It was a fantastic experience. But when we came back, it was all a blur. So much so that when someone asked me, did you visit Tiruvizhi Megalai? I didn't remember. I remember the tongue twister sthalam, Tiruvizhi Megalai. All the ras have to come properly to, utter that. But I didn't know at that time. But now I know it is a famous Padal Petra Sthalam where Appar and Trinyana Sambandar were there together, which led to the famous Devaram Vasi Tirave Kasanal Gavir. But at that time I knew nothing. That is the pitfall of temple hopping. In a hurry, to cover as many temples as possible, we rush straight into the main Sannadhi, we rush out and proceed to the next. Okay, so in the bargain, what do we miss? We miss a whole lot of things. We miss exquisite sculptures. We miss the sights and the sounds and the experience. We miss the energy which makes each and every temple unique. I have visited this Tanjai Periya Koil many times, but it was only a few years ago I realized that in the Vimana, there was this European traveler Marco Polo's sculpture there. I did not even notice that. And that is not Marco Polo. Some people say he is the governor of Tarangambadi. That is for a debate for another day. But in Avudayar Koil, there are some sculptures of women sporting elaborate hairstyles and carrying handbags. Such details, beautiful details, I was thinking, I must document it. I must document it so that I can visit them 3 months or 6 months or 1 year down the line, so that I can savor them all over again. That's how my blog came into being. And I started sharing the blogs with my close friends. And these tempelogues is a word created by Sri R.S. Murali. I don't know whether he's there. So when I shared these, some of them among my friends said, why don't you publish this into a book? And so here I am. This book has 3 parts: Temple Trails, Timeless Tales, and Spiritual Nuggets. Temple Trails are the trips Senthil and I went to, and Amma also accompanied us for some of the trips. And I'd like to talk about one particular temple in this, which is Avudayar Koil. It is just about 1.5 hours drive from Chennai. If you haven't visited, I suggest you all must visit. It is home to some amazing and historical temples. And I have written about one, the Sundara Varadaraja Perumal temple, which is very unique because it is a 3-tier temple. You have Perumal in Nindrakolam, Amaranthakolam, and Kidandakolam. And you can actually go up via a separate staircase and come down via a separate staircase, which is very unique. And as you go up, you can actually touch the Sudai sculptures, the stucco sculptures. Usually, you can only admire the sculptures from afar, but here you can actually touch them. And I don't know how many of you know that this temple, the Ashtalakshmi Besannagar, the Besannagar Ashtalakshmi temple, draws its inspiration from this temple. And I would like to read a little snippet from my book. This is about a place called Thiruvadigai, the Veerattaneswara temple in Thiruvadigai. This is the temple Rajaraja Solan was inspired to build his magnum opus, Brihadiswara temple. So he used to come and sit there, and look and draw his inspiration. Just a little snippet. As dusk set in, I found a quiet spot in the Praharam where an idol of Tilakavatiyar was also enshrined. I sat there in silence, living in the moment. Suddenly a vision unfolded in my mind, one that felt eerily real. I could almost see a young Rajaraja Solan sitting nearby, leaning on a carved pillar, his eyes fixed on the towering Vimana. I imagined him lost in thought, contemplating the mastery of the Pallava sculptors. How wonderful it would be if I could build a temple as magnificent or even greater than this, he must have mused. Before I die, I must create a masterpiece that the world will speak of long after the Cholas have faded into history. It will stand the test of time, drawing travelers from far and wide, leaving them awestruck, a temple that will live on forever. That vision left me with a sense of awe, how one king's dream, born from inspiration, had shaped history itself. And the second section is Timeless Tales, and I owe this section to my Guruji, Srimati Shyamala Krishna Das. I have been learning devotional music from her from 2012 onwards. And lately she has been teaching me only the Devaram and Tiruvasakam. And every time Mami teaches me a new Devaram, my research begins that evening itself. I start reading up about the Devaram, the story which goes behind the Devaram, and I chanced upon such fascinating stories, and that I was compelled to write about and share it with the world. And that is how this section came into the being. And there are stories from Appar Trinyana Sambandar and Manikavasagar in this section. The third section is Spiritual Nuggets, which is, little tidbits of information which is generally not known to the public. And I have chosen to write about a childhood experience, which is called the Chevvai Pillayar Nombu, which we used to do when I was a child. It was kept a secret in our families for years. It's such a beautiful ritual. Once you get hold of the book, you can read it. And I was worried that it will, fade away into oblivion. So that is why I wrote about it. I have written about the significance of number 33, which was written after listening to an exceptionally interesting video by Srimati Uma Balasubramaniam. It was only lately I came to know that she is the daughter of the legendary Kivaja. And again, thanks to Sri Kilambur for inviting us for that event. And there are lots of comments for these blogs. One particular comment I'd like to talk about. A senior citizen wrote saying that, I no longer have the energy to travel to all these temples, but I travel with you through your words. It feels as though you're holding my hand and walking with me temple after temple. And that person is sitting right here in the audience, Mrs. Mangai Krishnaswamy. Thanks for coming, Auntie. So that comment, I felt that I should continue to write for people like her. I thank Senthil and Shweta for arranging this event on my 60th birthday. On this momentous occasion, I think of my father, Dr. S.B. Mani, my father-in-law, Sri Shanmugam, and my mother-in-law, Mrs. Charumati. I am sure you're all blessing me from above. And I have a whole lot of people to thank. Akkarayulla nallullangal, en arubadin akkaraikki azhaithu chella, inga anbudan ingu vandullirgal. And with all your good wishes, the other side of 60 will be fulfilling. And I thank God for adding every single day He adds into my life. I thank my childhood friends from Bain School. You're all here, my cheerleaders. You've read my blogs. And thanks for being here. And my Ethraj College friends, for patiently sitting through. And my cheerleaders, always my support. And I'd like to mention Preeti Vijay. She has edited most of my blogs. And thanks for coming, all of you. And my IOC friends, my AC Tech friends, and my PSBB friends, all the rich comments which you gave in the blog, helped me write the next. And thanks for attending my COVID Day webinars also. And I thank the Soul Sisters from All Ladies League. And Sandhya Rao also, she has edited a few of my blogs too, thanks. And the Manoleum trustees and the Samskaara trustees for being my motivators. And my dear LBN team, the team in blue, especially special mention to Veera Desikan and Sanjay for the banners and invites. And they are manning the sales counters. Thanks so much for all your support. And my dear relatives and dear friends who have come from far and near, on a weekday evening you have spent your evening here with me, which means a lot, and I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And I thank Shagufa and Neha from Notion Press, this Notion Press publisher. Going back to the All Ladies League Soul Sisters, I have to mention Malabika Mitra here. Malabika Mitra was the one who suggested Notion Press. Thank you so much, Malabika, because it was a very smooth sailing for me. It was very easy dealing with Notion Press. I had a good experience with them, thanks to your suggestion. And I thank Shagufa and Neha from Notion Press, Dayalan for video and photography, and Gangadhar and team from Alumni Club. Before I wind up, I come to the most important section of my talk. Our ancient temples are far more than places of worship. They are living museums of art, architecture, culture, and history, and every stone tells a story. Sadly, many of these treasures are fading. They are vandalized, they are lost to time, or they are neglected. Preserving them is not just about protecting stone and sculpture, it's about safeguarding a legacy of who we were, what we believed in, and what we are still capable of doing. And that's where Samskaara Trust comes into the picture. A small but heartfelt note, every single rupee from the sale of Sacred Sojourns will go to Samskaara Religious Cum Charitable Trust. Through this initiative, we hope to breathe life back into our ancient temples, support the education of deserving children, and extend medical help for those in need. The book just costs rupees 230. But dear friends, it's up to you to donate how much ever your heart desires. Bulk orders are also welcome, and your donation will go a long way in achieving the objectives of this trust. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and being here. Thank you, all of you.